That came in early January against Atlanta.
But Quinn Snyder makes a great point. Look, you can't take everything away. They are up 3-1 in this series and held them 15 below their average. But that means you're going to give up some threes.
So it's Tony Bradley, the 22-year-old third-year man out of North Carolina. What a crazy series this has been. Overtime win for Denver in the opener. And since then, 3 straight victories for Utah as Michael Porter Jr. bangs in a 3.
He has already emerged as one of the better shooters in the NBA. But he got off to a great start in this series. He averaged over 20 a game in the first 2 games, only 8 a game in the last 2 games.
He's coming off the bench since Michael Malone made that change stand after game 3. And we spoke to Michael earlier today. We asked him about what that conversation was like, and he said, look, he didn't take it very well, like you'd expect from any player, let alone a kid who's as young as he is and was on the shelf for really basically those 2 years with the back injury. They need more from him defensively. As Conley taking on contact, soft touch.
Well, that's one of the things with Michael Porter.
Quiet scoring start for him, just 3 points. Here's Niang, and some pretty good looks in close.
Niang's been good in this series. He's given him a good lick. A guy who really knows how to play, has developed his body and gotten in better shape. Tough guy, good competitor.
Here's Plumlee. Beautiful pass, dropping a dime inside. As P.J. Dozier did not play in Game 4, coach's decision by Michael Malone. And a big bucket here off a terrific feed. Clarkson to the rack. And these two conversation with Malone earlier today. He said he's actually been keeping a journal for the first time in his life. Today, told us was day 50. Decided to do it once the league announced that it would restart its season, to kind of get his thoughts down on paper, coach, knowing that this was going to be something completely unprecedented. It's going to be a whole chapter in that journal today about Nikola Jokic. Clarkson! Another 3-point jack off that Utah bench.
Utah has hurt Denver in this series with second chance points. 16 a game in this series, and there's 3 more right there.
Monte Morris, long 2 won't go, and the rebound by Juwan Morgan.
Who are outraged that yet another Black American is the victim of excessive force at the hands of authorities. I spoke to Michael Malone, who's been very vocal in the fight for social justice, and he talked about how it's been a very difficult balance here in Orlando, focusing on games versus the injustices that continue happening throughout the country. He said,
isolated incidents, nothing is going to change.
So we hit the 6-minute mark. Here is Jeremy Grant stepping middle, elevates and puts it down. Good looking offensive maneuver by Jeremy Grant. 19 points in game 1, just 26 combined for Grant over the last 3.
Well, Denver is so big. We're so used to teams playing small now as Donovan Mitchell hits a pull-up. Denver right now has a point guard, a center, and essentially 3 power forwards on the floor, something we just don't see very often, so they're trying to take advantage of their size inside.
Morris, the bounce inside, gets it to Millsap on the box, and the rebound taken by Clarkson. So Nikola Jokic back onto the floor for Denver, 21 in the first quarter. Mitchell the drive and kick to Clarkson, gets another 3. And Utah's lead now at 5. Clarkson, second triple off the bench. He's got 11.
When Jordan Clarkson came into the league, he was a scorer, but he was more of just a mid-range guy. He's progressively gotten better, shooting more and more threes.
Think of all the offense that they lost when Bojan Bogdanovic went down with that wrist injury. Eventually had to have surgery, ending his season. Hurt initially in January as Clarkson.
But on that one, he just didn't have time to get there and ends up with an illegal screen.
This is Michael Porter Jr., corner 3, got it. Nuggets desperately needed that shot, and it ends an 8-0 Utah run.
There are not many better shooters in this league, particularly at his size. If he can just get to being a little better defensively, this guy's got a tremendous future.
Mitchell around a screen, hounded by Murray, takes some contact it, and he's headed to the free throw line. Donovan Mitchell in the double. Will check back into the game with 3:14 to play, second quarter. Denver trying to get their offense back in gear. Jokic on a three, too much. Porter had a hand on it, then Millsap saves. Nicely done. Here comes Murray, slicing his way through the defense.
Well, Utah is so small, and they want to play Royce O'Neal on Jamal Murray, and that puts the guards, Conley and Mitchell, on essentially power forwards, Michael Porter Jr. and Jeremy Grant, giving away a lot of size.
Ingles on a three. So Joe Ingles, who was nowhere to be found last couple of games, they didn't need him, with the play of Conley making a huge offensive contribution tonight. Little scrum for the loose ball, and Scott Foster says loose ball foul against Denver.
Denver, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. Great save by Millsap there. Murray able to drive it. Both these teams have gone to
charge to Millsap. Denver does have one more foul to give here. 2:20 to play. Ingles has had the hot hand, 11 points, the drive and kick. This is O'Neal. Back of the rim. What a play by Gobert to tap it and save. And look at Conley. Shot clock resets to 14. We come up on 2 to play in the half. Gobert puts it on the deck. Spins. Unable to hit with his left hand. Tough shot, Jokic. Nearly traveled with it. Now to Murray. Murray probing the defense into the corner. Checked by O'Neal. Murray. A pass. Jokic. Murray is there, takes it back and cleans up the mess.
You know, we're seeing great three-point shooting, and so it's easy to focus on that. But these teams are going at each other on the boards. The effort is very, very good both ways right now.
Mitchell, pretty step back, couldn't hit. Tapped out again by Gobert. Conley on top, and Gobert coming down hard.
Well, the Utah guards know when they drive the ball, if the big steps up to help like Jokic just did, they just throw the ball to the rim.
Here's Monte Morris, intercepted by Ingles. No one home. Mitchell. Good effort by Porter, but just couldn't get there. Too much speed from Mitchell. And it's an 11-point game, largest lead of the night for Utah. What did Michael Malone tell us earlier tonight? We're going to find out which of us are fighters and who wants to go home. What kind of fight does this Denver team have down the stretch? Jokic, 5 to shoot. Little fadeaway jumper splash. Wow.
Let me tell you how hard that is.
Underneath. So Conley elevating, changes his mind. And meantime, just an incredible shot by Jokic at the other end.